Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Okay, um, unmute the. Yes. So the today's topic is scope. What is the scope? So it is very important for identifier or a data member or member function. Okay. So what is the scope actually? The area where we can access the information or data. So what is the information means here? We have some data members and member function. If you are taking the class, we have some data members and member functions. So up to how much extent we can use those data members and member functions, or up to how much extent we can use the variables. If you are taking the normal terms, it is a variable or identifier. So up to how much area you can access that variable, so that is called as the scope here. So the scope determines the lifetime and visibility of an identifier. So what is the lifetime of a variable? So if it is a local variable, up to that particular area only we can access that variable. If it is a global variable, throughout the program we can use the variable. So that is the lifetime and visibility of an identifier. And it also determines whether the identifier clashes with another identifier in any other parts of a program. Suppose if I am declaring the int a variable at the starting of the program, and I am declaring one more a variable in middle of the program. So in that case, we are declaring the a variable two times. So this means it clashes with the other identifier. So in that case, how can we access the first a variable and the second a variable? So that is the scope here. So how can we access the first a variable and the second a variable? Why? Because we are redeclaring the same variable in the same program. So how can we access that variable here? So that can be described by the scope of the variable. And we have a types of scope here: local scope, function scope, file scope, class scope, and prototype scope. So these are the 5 different types of scope. Is my screen is visible to everyone? Am I
Yes,
audible?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. So types of scope, we have 5 types of scopes here: local scope, function scope, file scope, and class scope, and the prototype scope. So let's see one by one. So what are the types of scopes here? So first one, local scope. So what is a local scope? The variables declared within the blocks. So what is the meaning of block? We are taking the open flower braces and close the flower braces, and that is called as a block. If you are taking open close braces and closed flower braces, and that area is called as a block. So what is the local scope here? The variables declared within the blocks have local scope, that is they are accessed only within that block only. So suppose in an area we are telling that where is the proper, where is your proper? So my proper is Kauzipet or Varangal. So if you are once go to the out of the Varangal, I can access all the Telangana people. Once you go out of the Telangana, you can observe all the total overall India people. So once go out of the India, you can see all the world around people. So like that, we have a scope here. So what is the local scope here? The variables declared within the blocks have local scope. That is, they are accessed only within that block only. So how can we see that one? So what is the example? So this is the example. So I am making the open flower braces and closed flower braces. And within this, I am declaring some variable. So this type of variable, this is a variable, and this a variable is called as a local variable. Means I can use this a variable within this block only, not out of the block. So that is the local scope. Means within the open flower braces and closed flower braces, I can use the a variable. So that variable is called as a local scope or local variable. And let's see the second type, function scope. So it is a function actually. It is a self-contained block of a code. Again, we are taking the block here. So what is the meaning of block? Open flower braces and closed flower braces. But previous we don't have any name for the block. But come to this block, we have some name. So that is a function. So what is that one? The variable can be accessed only within the function, but not outside of that function. So the function scope and local scope is similar, but we don't have any name for the local block, our local block. But come to function scope here, we have a name for the block. So there is a function name. Now let us see the example here. I am taking the function name here, add. So what is my function name? Add. And the return type of the function is here, void. And I'm opening the flower braces here and closing the flower braces. And within this, I'm taking one statement, int c equal to 5 plus 3. Just I'm performing the addition between 5 and 3. And I'm storing the result into the one more variable, that is the c. Now, I can use this c variable within this function only, not outside of this function. It is similar to block only, but the difference is we don't have any name for the local scope block. But come to function scope, we have a name for the block, that is a function name. That's it. So outside the block, we cannot access in both the local block as well as the function block. So that is a function scope. Is this clear, everyone? Do you have any
Yes.
doubt between local scope and the function scope?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So please give your response in chat box also. Everyone, please. I need to know what is whether you are understanding the concept or not. Ramya said that no, madam. Tarun, okay. Akang, Shashank, no. Vamshi, no. Somya Sri. I think you people joined later. Yes.
No, ma'am, we are saying we have no doubts.
Okay, no doubt. Okay, no problem. Thank you. So this is the local scope and the function scope. Now let's see the next one, third type, that is a file scope. So what is the file scope? It is like a global variable. So what is the use of global variable, ma? Can anyone tell me what is the use of global variable?
It can be used anywhere in the program.
Yes, we can use that particular variable throughout the program. Anywhere in the program, we can use that variable. So that variable scope is called as a file scope only. So the file scope is the outermost scope of the program, and it encloses both local and class scope. That is, if you are using the class concept, we can use that variable in class also. And variables defined at the file scope are called as global variables. Just note this point. File scope variable is also called as a global variable. So if you are declaring the variable outside of the class, means globally, you can access that variable throughout the program. Okay, so that is called as a file scope. So let's see the example for this one. So I am taking the main function and open braces and close braces. Before main, I am taking one declaration of a variable, that is int a. Int a. I am taking the a variable and the type of variable is here integer. And you can use this a variable throughout the program anyway. Suppose if you are using any functions, in functions also you can use the a variable. Suppose if you are using the class, in class also you can use the a variable. So that is called as a global variable or file scope. So what is the scope of this int a? Throughout the file, means throughout the program we can use that particular variable. Okay. Next, we have a fourth type of variable, scope, that is a class scope. So already we have seen that what is the class? It is a collection of data members and member function. And we have a scope for the class data members also, like using access specifiers. We can up to how much, up to what extent we can access those variables. So that is access specifiers. If it is a public, anywhere you can access that data member. If it is a private, within the class itself we can access the members. If it is a protected, so up to one subclass you can access the particular protected data members. So that is also scope. But come to class scope, it is like a variable. Okay, now see that one. What is the class scope? Every C++ class defines a unique scope for its members called the scope class scope. That is, data members and member functions have class scope. So we can identify the data members scope using public, private and protected access specifiers. So if you are taking a data member under public, so anywhere you can access the members. If you are taking the data members under private, within the class only we can access that one. If you are taking the protected up to the subclass, we can access those data members. So that is the class scope. Suppose I am taking the example here, simple int A. I am taking the class program, class, and what is the class name here? A is a class name. And I am taking the open braces and I am declaring one data member here, int A. And I'm taking the public access specifier and I'm taking the one function or member function, and return type of function is here void and the function name is here print. Okay, and I'm closing the braces ending with the semicolon. So this is about the class here. Now what is the access mode of this particular print function? It is a public. And what is the access mode of int A here? It is a private. So we can access the print function anywhere in the program. But come to the int A, it is the private members. So within the class only we can access this member. So that is the scope of your data members based on the public, private and protected access specifiers. So that is the class scope. So come to the class scope, we have different types of access specifiers. Based on that, we can define the scope of the data member. But come to the normal programming part, other than class program, using local scope, that is a local variable and global variable, we can define the scope of the variable here. Now let's see the fifth scope type, that is the prototype scope. What is the prototype scope? Variables declared in a function prototype are visible only to the end of the prototype. So what is the meaning of prototype? We are when you are taking the function declaration. Now let us see this example. So I am taking the example for the prototype scope. So I'm taking the function name and the return type of function is here void. And I'm taking the parameters here. Okay, so these are the formal parameters. So when you are taking the function definition, and those parameters are called as a formal parameters. So what are the parameters here? Int A, float B and char C. I'm taking the three parameters and three different type of data type for each and every parameter, that is int, float and character. Now we can use this A, B, C formal parameters within this add function only. Within this add function only, not the outside of this particular function. Now what is the difference between the prototype scope and the function scope? In that case, now we are taking the parameters here. We are taking the parameters. Suppose if I'm calling the function with add of 5, 3, 6 like that. So you are storing that 5, 3, 6 in the A, B, C variables. Okay, and you can use this A, B, C variable formal parameters within this add function only, not the outside of the function. But come to the function scope, we are not taking any parameters, but we are taking the declaration of variables within the function. So this is parameters with the parameter and the function scope is without parameters. Just note this point. Function scope is without parameters and prototype scope is with the parameters here. Okay, so we can use these ABC parameters values within this add function only. So these are the types of scopes. So what are the types of scope? First one, local scope. Second, function scope. And third one, and we have a class scope. And next, fourth one, we have one more, that is file scope, as file scope. And next we have a class scope. And next we have a prototype scope. So these are the 5 different types of scopes. Now, we have one more related topic for this one. It is a scope resolution operator. So this scope resolution operator, it is an operator. So what is the need of operator? To perform any operation or function between any 2 variables or 3 variables. Minimum we need to take the 2 variables. So between two variables, suppose if we want to perform the addition, we need to take the plus symbol. Suppose if you want to perform the subtraction, we need to take the minus operator. So like that, we have one more operator in C++. We don't have any scope resolution operator in C language. So it is the new operator introduced in the C++, that is object-oriented programming language. So what is the scope resolution operator? Now see this one. So what is the scope actually? The area where we can access the information or data. Sorry, the area where we can access the information or data is called as scope. Now let's see this one. The scope resolution operator helps to identify and specify the context to which an identifier refers. Means like the visibility and lifetime of the operator variable only. So how can we show that using the scope resolution operator? Now you can say this one. The symbol for scope resolution operator is colon colon. We are using the two colon symbols, so that is called as a scope resolution operator. And we are using this scope resolution operator, and to define the member function outside the class, we are using the scope resolution operator. And one more use of the scope resolution operator, if you are declaring if you are taking any clashes with the variable. So just now I have said that in a local variable or global variable, if you are taking the int a variable and I'm taking the redeclaration of same int a variable in a other step, I'm taking the same one more variable in middle of the program. So it is clashes with the other a variable. So in that case, how can we access the first variable and the second variable? So to overcome that problem clash, we are using the scope resolution operator, and the symbol of the scope resolution operator is two colon symbols. Two colon symbols. Now let me explain the concept of scope resolution operator using one program. Okay, we'll see the programming part for the scope resolution operator. So how can we use the scope resolution operator in a normal program? We'll see with the normal program, then we'll go with the class program. How can we use the scope resolution operator in normal program and class program? Now let's see the normal program. So I'm taking the, is my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am.
I'm writing the normal simple program, not the class program. So I'm taking the iostream.h and I'm taking the conio.h also to clear the. I think you know the what is the conio.h header file.
No, ma'am.
No,
Yes, ma'am. We don't know, ma'am.
conio means console input output header file, ma. It is a console input output header file, and this header file consists of CLR SCR clear screen like this one, CLR SCR, and one more we have a getch function. So these two functions included in the conio.h. So what is the conio full form? Console input output. Console input output, and these header files includes CLR SCR clear screen and getch. So what is the CLR SCR? I want to clear the previous program output. I want to see only this particular program output only. So in that case, I want to clear the what is the previous program output. I don't want to see the previous program output. So in that case, you need to clear the screen. So in that case, you need to use this CLR SCR function. And to get the output in a proper way, we are taking the get char. So it is going to return the output here using this function.
Ma'am, that means in the output we are gonna clear screen.
Yeah, that is the CLR SCR, clear screen.
Uh-huh.
So this function will be included in the conio.h header file. Okay, not in the IO stream. This CLR SCR included in the conio.h header file. So I want to use this CLR SCR. So in that case, we need to include this conio.h header file. Yes?
If we do not use, that means we cannot use CLR CSR.
CLR SCR. If you don't want to use the CLR SCR, no problem. But what is the, when you are getting the output, you will get the previous output also. Previous program output also, you can see that one.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you want to see only this particular program, you want to use the CLR SCR. Suppose if you are not using the CLR SCR also, no problem. You will get the output properly. But you can see the previous program output also. In that case, you will confuse what is the output for the program, whether it is the first 8 line or the second line. So to overcome that problem, we are clear the screen of the previous output. That's it. Yes? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. So I'm taking the two header files here, and I want to clear this one. Yes. So I'm taking the normal main program, that is void main, and before main I want to declare some global variable, suppose int m, and I'm assigning some value 10 to the m variable. Okay, so what is m here? It is a global variable. So what is the use of the global variable? Throughout the program, we can use the variable anywhere. Within the program, we can use that particular variable anywhere. Now, I want to take one more m. I'm taking the same variable within the main function also. I'm taking the same global variable name within the main function also, but I want to take the different value to this one. Suppose it is a 20. Okay, so now it is the local variable. It is a local variable. And next, I want to open the block like this, open flower braces. Then I want to take some variable like int k equal to, I want to assign the m value now. Int k equal to m. Next, I am to take one more m variable here. I am taking the three m variables, three m variable declaration within the program. Now I am to take one more m variable, and the value of the variable is 30. Now, I want to print the value now. So it is a local variable, and this m is block variable. Okay. Now this is block variable or local variable, and this is function variable. I think it is a function variable. Why? Because it is a main function variable. Now I want to print the values out. I'm within the block now. So block. Let's see. First, I want to know the output. Then I will write the content here. So m value is. So can you tell me what is the m value here?
30.
30. Okay. Now I'm taking one more. M value is. Now I'm taking the, sorry, k value. K value is. I want to take the k also. K value is. I want to bring the k value also. Okay. Now I want to print the one more m value. M value is fashion, and I'm closing the block. And now we are outside of the block. So what is the block means? Open flower braces and close flower braces. So this is the block. Okay. Now I'm outside the block now. Now again I'm trying to bring the m value. M value is m value is okay. I want to print the same statement again. Why? Because I want to access the three m variables value, no? So m value is now I'm closing the main function. Okay, just I want to save this program. It is scope. Okay, now tell me what is the value of this particular variable, your statement, and this one and this one. Anyone? You can post the answer in chat box also. Please everyone respond to my question. Then only I can understand whether you are understanding or not. Hey, Ramya 10, 20, 30 means first m value is here 10 and next k value is 20 and next cout statement is 30. Rakshit 30. And now first tell me what is the first cout m value? First one. First cout statement value. What is the first cout statement value? Mumtaz 10. Salim 10. Vamshi. Rakshit 30. Rakshit 30. So he gave the answer as 30. And Bharadwaj also. Dheeraj Reddy 30. Soumya Sri 10. Amrin 30. Okay. Now first I'm going to display the output here. Okay. Now we'll see this one. First I'm going to compile this one and run the program and see the output. So m value is 30. So first m value is 30 and k value is 20 and m value is 30 and next we have a 20 and 20. So we are getting the output as 30, 20, 30, 20 and 20. Now
How,
see
ma'am?
this one. Yeah, I will tell you that one. So what is the first m value? It is 30. So why? Because we are inside the block here. We are inside the block. So what is the inside block m variable value? So I have declared that m is
30.
30. So for that I am taking the m value as 30 here. So first statement 30 value will be displayed. Is this clear? First statement.
Yes, ma'am.
We are within the block and the block variable m value as 30 here. I am taking 30. So the 30 value will be displayed here. And next, what is the next cout statement? K. So what is the k value I have assigned here? I am assigning with the m variable value. What is the m variable value here? So previous statement of the k equal to m. So what is the previous statement here? M equal to 20. I have assigned the m value as a 20. That is a functional variable. See this one. So I am taking the m equal to 20. So I am assigning this m equal to 20 to k variable. So what is the value of k variable in that case? 20 itself. So the value of the cout statement second is, it is a 20. Then again I am taking the m value is. In third statement also I am going to bring the m value is. So what is the m value? 30 only. We are in the within the block. So what is the value of m here? 30 only. Now once we come out of the block, I am taking the two more cout statements here. So what is the m value now? We are outside the block now. So this is the block. This block is over. This block is over. Now we are taking the cout statement. So this cout statement belongs to which m variable? So this one. See this one. M equal to 20. So these two cout statements belongs to main function up to this one. So open braces and close braces. Okay. So what is the variable value, m value here? 20. So that value will be printed here. M value is here 20. Again, I'm taking the one more m variable value cout statement. So it is also 20. Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Do you have any doubt?
Ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now see this output. Every time we are getting the 30 and 20. That's it. That means block variable value and the function variable value we are getting the output. But I am declaring one more variable m value, that is a global variable. And what is the value of that variable? 10. I want to print that 10 value also. I want to print the 10 value also. Then how to get the 10 value? How to get
Declare
the
outside.
Yes, we are
Outs-
outside. Yes. So that is, I want to get that output within the main function. How to get that output? How to get the 10 variable value within the main function? I want to take the cout statement. So every time we are taking the cout m value is, every time you are getting the 20 or either 30 based on the block variable or the function variable, we are getting that 30 and 20 variable value only. But I want to get the 10 value. So that is the global variable value. So that is possible with the scope resolution operator. That is possible with the scope resolution operator. Now see this. I'm going to take the third cout statement. So third cout statement, at that moment I'm using the two colon symbols before m. Before m, I'm taking the two colon symbol. So what is the two colon symbol operator? Scope resolution operator. So this scope resolution operator is used when you are taking the same name in global as well as the local. If you are taking the same name, so it will be clashed with the another variable. So in that case, how to access the global variable value using the scope resolution operator? So colon m. And in fifth statement also I want to take the colon m. Okay, third statement and fifth statement I'm taking the colon m. So what is the previous output we are getting here? 30, 20, 30, 20, 20. Now can you tell me what is the output now for each and every cout statement? Using scope resolution operator m, we can access the global variable value. So in that case, what is the output for the third statement and fifth statement? Pranay Akula gave the answer as 2020. Is that correct?
10.
Yes, 10. Dheeraj Reddy, 10, 10. Ramya, 10. Manisha gave the answer as 20 and 10. Now see here, scope resolution operator means we can access the global variable. What is the meaning of global variable? Before main, if you are declaring the variable, then it is called as a global variable. So using scope resolution operator, we can access that variable value. That is the global variable value. Global variable value. Now, so what is the output here? Amreen, okay, Somraj, Bharadwaj, 10, 10, Lakshmi Prasanna, 10. Srilam, Tarun, yes, 10. So the answer is 10. Now let's see the output here. I'm going to run the program. I want to save this. Now see the output. I want to clear this. So like this. So just now somebody asked that. So if you are not using CLR, SCR, man, what happened? Now see this one. I'm getting the previous output also here. Totally I have 10 cout statement, 10 printout statements we have here. So we don't know what is the correct output for the program. So for that we need to clear the previous program output. I want to take the clear screen. So before declaration, we can take the CLR, SCR. Now with this, you can see only this particular program output. Now I want to compile. I want to save this one. Now run the program. Again, I want to save this. Now see the output. Now we can see only this particular program output. After modification, I want to compile this program, then we can see the output. So see the output here. So what are the values we are getting? 30, 20, 10, 20 and 10. So scope resolution operator, using the scope resolution operator, we can get the global variable value. If you are taking the same name, so where we are using the scope resolution operator value operator, when you are taking the same variable name in different times. So in that case, to access the global variable value, we are using the scope resolution operator. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That somebody gave the answer. Joshna, Raila, it is 2010. No, ma. So the scope resolution operator is used to access the global variable value. It is used to mainly use for the global variable value. To access the global variable value, we are using the scope resolution operator. So in that case, in third statement, we are getting the output as 10. In fifth statement also, we are getting the output as 10.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes. Okay. Tell me.
Ma'am, when a variable is declared
Okay.
and until it is in the parentheses, that is the flower brackets,
Okay.
the variable will have the value which we have assigned, right?
Yes.
After when it comes out, the
Okay.
data in that variable gets erased. Then how is
No.
it getting this data?
No. See here. Who is that? I think Himesh. Himakesh.
Pranay,
Uh,
ma'am. Pranay.
Pranay. Okay, Pranay. Now see this here. I'm declaring the 3M variable here. 3M variables. And the memory will be allocated for the 3M variables separately. So the value will not be erased here. I'm not replacing the previous M value with the 30 value. So when you are taking the M equal 10 and here I'm taking the M equal 20, the 10 value will not be erased. The 3 M values separately, the memory will be allocated. So this M equal to 30 memory will be allocated separately and the scope of this M equal 30 is within this particular block only. And I'm taking the M equal 20 and for this M also the memory will be allocated separately and the scope of this 20 is outside, means with not within the, suppose if you are not taking the block, so M value is 20 only. Now you can see this one, K value is, what is the K value? 20 will be printed here. Okay, 20 value will be same as it is. But you can use this 20 outside within this also, within this block also. You can see this one. So within the block, you are getting the K value as 20. But because I'm assigning K equal to M, so M value is 20. So that will be assigned to K. So K value is 20 will be printed here.
So then the
And
last variable, last time when the variable value is declared, then
uh,
the address which is mentioned that would be pointed out, right, ma'am?
yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is the scope resolution operator use. So if you are taking the same variable name different times, so if you are taking in this example, I am taking the M as a global variable, M as a function variable or a global variable. It is like, I mean, a block variable and it is also block variable. So in that case, how can we access the global variable value? So if you are taking the cout statement simply every time we are getting the within the main function, what are the M variables, that value will be printed always. Within the main function, whatever you are declaring the M variable value, so always that value will be printed. But if I want to access the M variable outside main function, that is the global variable M value, so in that case, I need to take the scope resolution operator to access that one. So scope resolution operator followed by the global variable syntax. So this is like this we can access the global variable value here. So everyone, is this clear everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. So this is the scope resolution operator. Now let's go back to the exhibition. We'll go to the topic. So what is we have? So this is the scope resolution operator. Now we have one more use of a scope resolution operator. We are using the scope resolution operator in classes. How to use the scope resolution operator in classes? Just now we have seen that how to use the scope resolution operator in normal function, not the class program. How to use the scope resolution operator in normal programming part. Now I want to use the scope resolution operator in class program. So actually where we are using the scope resolution operator in a class program. Now I'm going to show that program part again. See, again I want to open the Turbo C++. So now listen carefully. So in previous program we are taking only normal program, not the class program. Simply we are using the scope resolution operator with the variable. Now come to this particular class program. How can we use the scope resolution operator? Now, once go to before going to the programming part, now see this one. Defining member function. What is a function? It consists of some self-contained block of codes. Now that function in a class we are called it as a member function. Function and member function both are same, but we are using a different terminology in the class program. That function is called as a member function, not simply function. That function is called as a member function if you are declaring in the class. Now, how many ways we can write the function definition? So we have three statements when you are taking the function in the C program. Function prototype, call function, calling function. That is a function calling and a function definition. So we have three syntaxes for when you are taking the functions in the C program. Now, function definition means we need to write the code in that particular function. That function is called as a function definition. And what is a function declaration? Suppose if I am using the add function, before main, you need to write that function syntax. What is the return type of function? What is the function name? If you are taking any parameters, so what is the type of the parameters? Ending with the semicolon. Is this right? When you are taking the functions in C program, we need to take the three statements for the function. Function prototype, calling statement and called statement. Is this right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we need to take the three statements when you are taking the function in the C program. Now come to the C++ class program. I'm telling about class program, not the normal programs. I'm telling about the class programs. So when you are taking the class programs, I can define the member function. Means the code of the function can be defined in two ways. What are the two ways? So member function defined in two ways: inside the class and outside the class definition. Means within the class I can write the code of the function, and outside the class also I can write the code of the function. So if you want to write the code of the function within the class, so what is the syntax? Like this. You can see the example here. So I am taking the class and class name as a student, and I am opening the braces, and I am declaring two data members A and B. I want to assign some values to this A and B using some function, that is a read function. Using read function, I'm going to assign the values here. I want to read the input from the keyboard. In that case, I'm taking the Cin object A, B, and close the function and close the class also, ending with the semicolon. So I'm writing the Cin statement, means the code of the read function within this class. So within this class means ending with the semicolon before I need to write the code of the read function. Within the class, I can write the function code of the read. Now, how can I write this total read functional statements outside the class? I want to write the read function here. Outside class means after semicolon, ending the semicolon class, I need to write the function definition here. So how can we write that one? So now see this syntax. Please see the example. I'm taking the class and class name and student same, and I'm taking the variables or data members A and B here, and I'm here taking only, I'm taking the prototype. Just I'm taking the calling statement. See here, just I'm calling the read function, but I'm not defining any statements for this read function. Simply I'm calling the read function, that's it. And when you are calling this function, I need to define the functional statements. Now after closing this class, I'm taking the function definition. After closing the class, I'm writing the read functional statements. But how to write that one? Simply you cannot write the statements for the read function outside the class. So in that case, what is the syntax? We need to use that syntax. So what is the syntax here? I'm taking the void class name. It is the stud scope resolution operator. I'm using the scope resolution operator here. That is 2 colon symbols. And what is the function name? Read. And this is the syntax to define the function outside the class. So in two ways we can define the function. Within the class, outside the class. Within the class, simply normally you can write the return type, function name, open the braces, you can write the code, close the braces. But if you want to write the statement, functional statements outside this class, so how can we take the syntax? So you need to take the return type of this function. What is the return type of the function here? Void. And what is this read function belongs to which scope, which class scope? Stud. So I need to write the class name and scope resolution operator symbol. Then after that you need to take the what is the function name. So what is this syntax tells that this read function scope, what is the use, what is the meaning of scope resolution operator? What is the how much extent we can use that particular function or data member, or what is the scope of that particular data member or member function. So the syntax tells that the read function scope is belongs to which class? Stud class. This one. So the read function scope is belongs to stud class only. And what is the return type of this function? Before class name, you need to take that return type of a function. And you can take the open braces and you can write the statement as it is like previous normal program. You can write all the statements and close the braces. Okay. Now let's see the syntax. So how to define the member function outside the class. So what is the syntax? So this is the syntax. So note these points, everyone. Make a note, everyone. I will ask someday what is your notes status of DSC++. You need to show me the book in online. So what is the syntax here? Return type, class name, scope resolution operator, member function name, that is add or read, print, display, that's it. Member function name, and within the parenthesis argument. If you are taking any arguments, you can take the arguments also. If you want to pass the parameters, you can take the parameters or arguments also. Then open the braces, you can write the function body, any statements, and close the braces. So this is the syntax to define the member function outside the class. Simply you cannot write the function name and the body of the function outside the class. You need to tell that what is from where you are taking this function, from which class you are taking this function. The function belongs to which class, you need to tell that one. Suppose one student come out of the class, so I'm asking what is your name. So he or she tell that my name is so and so. And your belongs to which class, ma? Second year, A section, B section, C section, or D section. So in that case, you need to specify that I belongs to so and so class. So in that case, you need to mention what is your scope, what is the your belongs to which class. You need to tell that. So like that, we need to take the syntax here. So return type, class name, scope resolution operator, and member function name. And if you are taking any parameters or arguments, you need to take the arguments also. And open the braces, write the function body, and close the braces. So is this clear, theory part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Now we'll see the programming part. How to define that function outside the class using practically. Just we'll see the practical session now. I want to. I'm in the new new file. I'm including the header file, IO stream, knowledge. And I want to take the conio also to create the previous program output, conio.h. Now I want to write the class program. I need to write the class program. Now I'm taking the class. I'm taking the class name as example. Open the braces. And I'm taking the data members A comma B, two data members. So these are the data members. Or in normal program we are called it as a variable, but when you are taking the variables inside a class, it is called as a data member. Then I'm not declaring any access specifier up to till now. So this A and B, public, private or protected, acts like which one? Public, private or protected? Whether A and B is public, private or protected. Yes, Ramya said that it is private. Yes, good Ramya. So this is the first answer from Ramya. For fastly I'm getting the answers from Ramya every time. Yes, it is private. Yes, Vanilla, Somraj Bharadwaj, Shashank. Yes. If you are not defining any access specifier, so those data members act like a private. Now I am taking one public access specifier. So under this, and I'm taking one function, read function. Okay, and I'm going to read those values here. Suppose enter the values. Enter the values. I'm taking the enter the values here. Okay, now I'm closing this one. Now I want to read those values A and B. Read A value and B value, and I'm closing the function. I want to display the values of A and B also. So further I'm taking the one more function, display function. To display or print the values, I'm taking the display function. Now here I'm writing the statement. The values of A and B are I'm taking the statement A. I'm taking the space between A and B variable. I want to print the space also. So B. Then simply I'm closing this one. And I'm closing the class also. So this is my plan. So this class, it is only blueprint of an object. It is only plan, not the actional part. It is not the real part. Now how can I access all these members? Using the object only. Now I want to create the object here in main function. I'm creating the object in main function. Now I want to create the object. How to create the object? What is the syntax to create the object? Anyone, Ramya or Dheeraj Reddy, Mahija? Can you tell me how to create the object? What is the syntax? Syntax to create the object. Object name dot class name. No, Vanilla. Your reverse. Object name dot class no. Class name followed by the object name. Class name. What is the class name? Example. Okay. Now I'm taking the object obj. So this is the syntax. If you want to create, so this is the creation of object. This is the creation of object. So class name followed by the object name. Yes, class name for S Vaishnavi, Dheeraj Reddy. Class name followed by the object name. So between class and on object name, we don't have any operators. Dot kuda undadu. We don't have any dot operator also. Now, so this is only syntax to create the object. Now, how to access the data members and member function? What is the syntax to access the data members and member function using object? How to access the members? Yes, obj.read. Yes, Ramya. So we can call the member function using object name dot. Now we are using the dot operator. If you want to call the member function, we need to use the syntax object name dot member function name. Now I want to call the read function and display function. Why? Because in read function I'm going to read the values of A and B, and in display function I want to print the values whatever you are reading in the read function. I want to print the values here. Now I need to call these two functions, and I'm declaring these two functions under public. So if you are using the public, anywhere you can access the member function. Now simply I want to call those functions obj.read. I want to call the display also obj.display. Okay, so like this we can call the read function and display function. Okay, is this clear everyone? Simply I'm taking the two data members and I'm reading the values to those data members using read function, and I'm printing the display of those data members. And to access that, I want to create the object in the main function, and using object I'm calling the read function and the display function. Now try to compile this program. So before that, I want to say the program is example. Compile the program. So we don't have any errors. Now try to run the program. So enter the values. I need to enter the values here. Suppose 10 and 20. And the values of A and B are 10 and 20. You can see the screen there. So the values of A and B are 10 and 20 values will be printed there. Okay, so this is a simple program to get the output of A and B values. And I am defining the member function within the class. So within the class means this one. Within the class, I am taking the read function and the display function. Now, what is the second way to define the function? Define the function outside the class. Now see this one. How to define the function outside the class. Now I want to change some some program here. So just I want to call these statements here, not the body. Just simply I'm taking the prototype here. You can see here. Void read. Simply I'm calling the functions. That's it. I'm calling the function. So till now I didn't take any function definition for the read and display. Now just try to compile this program. Let's see what happened if you are not writing the body of the program. So we don't have any errors, right? Because as per syntax we don't have any errors. We are writing the program in a syntax way, so we don't have any errors. If you are missing the semicolon or bracket like that, we will get the error. But as per syntax, we will write the program correctly. Now try to run the program. What you are getting? Now see this one. So we have a linked error. So what is a linked error? We don't have a function definition there. Now you can see this one. Undefined symbol, example, display and read. So we are defining the display and read function. We are not defining any code for the read and display. So that is a link error. So if you are not defining any code of the particular function, so you will get the error like this. Okay. Now I need to write the code for this one. Outside the class means here. I need to write the function statements outside the class. So how to take the syntax? Return type of a function. First I'll write the read function. So what is the return type of read function here? Void. Okay. So return type of function is void. And this read function scope belongs to which class? This example class. I am declaring the read function within the which class? The example class. I am declaring the read function within the example class. So what is the scope of this read function? Example class only. Example, you can use this read function in example class, not in the other classes. If you are taking the Srikanth, suppose Srikanth is there, A initial with the A Srikanth. So if he belongs to A section, so I can call the A Srikanth, so he'll answer that, yes ma'am, I'm A section. So like that. So this read function is belongs to example class only. Now, so read function return type is void, and read function belongs to example class. Write the class name and use the scope resolution operator. And what is the function name? Read. Open the braces and you can write the code here. So like previous one, cout, enter the values, enter the values. Then you can read those values using cin statement A and B. Close the braces. That's it. Simply you can write the statement like this. So what is the return type of function? And what is the function belongs to which class? So the scope resolution operator tells that the right hand side function is belongs to left hand side class. So the right hand side function scope is belongs to example class, like that. So this is the function definition outside the class. So like that I need to write the display function also. So return type of display is here void. Write down that void function return type, and the display function is also belongs to example class. Then use the scope resolution operator, and the function name is display. Then you can write the statement or body of the statement. Cout the values of A and B are cout A. I need to take the space between the A and B when you are printing the values, or you can take the slash and also, no problem. And then take the B. Close the braces. That's it. Okay. So like this, you can define the function outside the class. So what is the return type of the function? And the function belongs to which class? Scope resolution operator followed with the function name. Then open the braces. You can write the body of the function and close the braces. So this is the syntax to define a function outside the class. So here I am taking only prototype. So this is only prototype. Only this is prototype or declaration. Okay, so now I'm taking the functions in the C program. You need to take the function declaration, calling statement, and call statement. So this is the prototype in the class or declaration in the class, ending the semicolon. Now I need to call these functions. So where I am calling this function in main function, I am calling that so object name dot read. So this is the calling statement, and this is the called function. This is the function definition. So this is the function definition. Okay. Now I'm going to save this program. Now try to compile this. Yes, we don't have any errors. Then try to run the program. Okay, I want to clear the output. See here, I'm getting the previous output also, previous programming output also. This I want to clear this one first. I want to clear that using the CLR SCR. So before first statement of main, we can take the CLR SCR function. Okay, now try to compile and run the program. Now I'm getting the only output of this particular program. So enter the value.
Ma'am, if we remove CLR SCR from above means you put down, no?
Where in main program.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you want to remove the CLR simply don't write the CLR that's it.
Okay.
So if you want to use the CLR before declaration, as you can after declaration of object also you can write the CLR no problem. But before going to call the functions, you can write the CLR Before going to call the functions, you need to call the CLR
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So now enter the values. I'm taking the 10 and 20. So what are the values of A and B? 10 and 20 will be get the output. We'll get the output as 10 and 20. So you can define the function within the class, outside the class, the result will be same. Okay, but what is the use of defining the member function within the class, and what is the use of defining the member function outside the class, and that will be we'll see that in the next class. Suppose I can define the all the read function, display function within the class only. I can write the all the code of the read function within the class only. I can write the code of the display function within the class only. But you need sometime you need to write the code outside the class also. So why we have to write the function definition outside? What purpose you are writing the function definition outside? Is there any use to write the function definition outside? Yes, there is a use to define the function outside the class. So some situation we need to use the definition of a function outside the class. So where we are using that, we'll see that later. But up to here, just see that how to define the function within the class and outside the class. Now, is this class is clear, everyone? Do you have any doubts?
No doubts, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Anyone, any girls or boys? But till now, nobody submitted the assignment now. Yesterday I told that everyone submit the assignment before the tomorrow's class, but no one submit the assignment. So I'm going to put the 0 marks for the all the students for the yesterday's assignment. So further I'm asking that what are the rule number stands from in A section and B section. I think in A section it is 1 to 58 and C section it is BI to some H4. So I have created the assignment Excel sheet here. I will show that one. So this is the assignment sheet for section A. Roll number start from 501 to I think 58. That's 58. And come to C section, and the rule number starts from BI to some H4. Okay, so till now nobody submitted the assignment for me. So I'm going to put the 0 marks simply in assignment 1. I'm going to put the 0 marks for all the roll numbers up to H4 in C section, and come to this A section 501 to 501 to up to 58. 58 I'm going to put the 0 marks. Okay, see, every day I'll give some task. Please complete the task and share your screen in the WhatsApp group. Ramya, give me one more day, madam. Why, ma? Is there any complicated one? Simple program I have given in assignment. Shall we submit today evening, madam? No, the time is over. Now is the time to submit the second assignment for this class. Okay, now I'm going to give you the assignment now today. Listen. So define the member function outside the class. Define the member functions outside the class. So what is the program here? Just read your name, roll number and marks, and you can calculate the marks also, no problem. Okay, so name, roll number, marks, and simply display the marks. Like previous program, we have seen that a read and display function. Like that, read the name, roll number, and marks in one function, and you can display those values in other function, or you can calculate the marks in another function also. Take one more function, calculation function. So calculate the percentage of the marks, and you can display the percentage also. But you need to define the function outside the class. You need to define the function outside the class. And one more, Same program. Already I have given in the yesterday's class only. Okay, let's try this one. Only one program. Only one program. I'm going to give only one program. So take the roll number, name, marks, print those values also. But you need to define the function outside the class. Define the function outside the class. Okay. So what is the time to submit the assignment? Tomorrow 5 p.m. You have a time up to tomorrow 5 p.m. So before 5 p.m. you need to submit the assignment. Okay. So already first assignment is over. I'll put the 0 for all the students. Just forget about that one. But come to the from second assignment. Be careful. So submit the assignment in time. Okay. So is this clear, everyone? Do you have any doubts regarding the class?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. But only we have only 40 members only in this class. So if the strength is like this, it is very complicated. But because we have a lab session also is there. So if you are not understanding this concept, then it is very difficult to write the programs. Data, we have data structures also. Data structures consist of number of 100 lines programming is there. You need to write the 100-line program. Then how to write that one? Bharadwaj said no, madam. What, ma? Do you have any notes?
No, ma'am, it's clear. No.
Yeah. Okay, Bharadwaj. Okay, Shashank. Thank you. Thank you, Amsheen. Thank you, Amreen. So if you have any doubts while writing the program or after getting the output not in a proper way, you can post the questions in chat box also. I mean, WhatsApp group. I have created the WhatsApp group yesterday. So please join in the WhatsApp group and write the program and get the output and share your screen in the WhatsApp group. So based on that, I'll going to assign some marks to that particular student. So please, after posting your output screen, please write your roll number also. Your output screen with the roll number. Then I'll assign the marks to that particular roll number. Try your own. I think already Suresh has said that how to install the C++ compiler in mobile app. Okay, using mobile apps. Okay, so use the mobile app compiler to write the program, execute the program, and share your screens. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. You can leave the class.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hello. Hello, ma'am.